and I can't believe I didn't realize this earlier. I did have a term called the invisible poisons, in which I was referring to the concern for pesticide residues in food, etc. Something you can't see that they're telling you is going to give you cancer or autism or obesity or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But you can't see it, so how can you verify that it's even there?
Yeah.
And now I realize I've made my title of this talk, Fake Invisible Catastrophes and Threats of Doom.
Hmm.
Just, I know it sounds sensational, but when you see the presentation, you'll realize that it's not,
Yeah.
because it's true that nearly all the scare stories that go around the world today, and I'll go through some of them with you, they are all about things that are either invisible, like carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
You can't point over to the mountain and say, look what the CO2 is doing over there, you know, because you can't see it or taste it or smell it or touch it.
Yeah.
And so that's an invisible factor, and it's being said to be responsible for a myriad of problems.
Yeah.
I saw one tweet the other day in which there was one panel in which it said, pigs are getting skinnier because of climate change. And then in the other panel, it said, horses are getting fatter because of climate change.
Exactly.
And this is the ridiculous level to which it has sunk in many cases.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
on the other hand, they're saying the world is going to come to an end in 10 years because of CO2.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, no. I was just going to say, I definitely, you know, the science education apparently is lacking, because the whole point, you were just talking about the scientific method, which everybody who's had a high school education knows that it's observation and hypothesis and testing, and it's just that's what we learned in school. And then later on, even like Karl Popper's idea of what a scientific hypothesis is, which means it's falsifiable, so that if you make a prediction, and if you're wrong, your theory is wrong, and then you change it. But as you said, if the pigs get skinnier, you're right. If the horses get fatter, you're right. If it's too cold today, you're right. If it's too hot today, you're right. There's no way to disprove, these articles of faith. It's amazing. Right?
This
Now,
is right. And
yeah. Go on.
even things, though, which are visible are often remote, so remote that no one can observe them and verify them, the same thing.
Yeah.
So they might as well be invisible. And this goes like polar bears in the Arctic. How many people fly up there can go around the whole Arctic and count the polar bears? And some things are both invisible and remote. Things which are underwater are basically invisible, even though they're not invisible when you go underwater. How many people go underwater? Not very many.
Yeah.
But they are also, the coral reefs, for example, are underwater, and they are quite remote for most people. So they are in the same category. And so the title, Invisible Fake Catastrophes are things that are said to be happening at the moment. The climate emergency, for example.
Yeah.
Threats of doom are predictions for the future, such as half the species will go extinct. They can't say half the species are going extinct now, because they aren't.
Yeah.
But they're saying they will, definitely, in 20 or 30 years. If the temperature goes up by 0.5 degree Celsius globally, half the species will die. They're actually saying that.
Yeah.
So it's become so ridiculous. I have to make a ridiculous title to my talk in order to,
Absolutely
make sense.